Reset? No? Yes, there, finally. Okay, good. Hi, I'm host Eric. I'm host of Talking with Famous People. I'm somebody who talks about a lot of important issues. You know, a theme I continually talk about is how significant it is that we as a country act like grown-ups about politics. In other words, stop focusing on what agenda, what ideology to pass, and start focusing on actual things that matter. But of course, there's more to life than politics, and there are more threats in the world than just the threats of bad discourse. Discourse is one way that people express themselves, but people can express themselves in bad ways in other ways too. Like, for example, if I go run down the street punching people in the face, that's expressing myself in a bad way with my fists. Just like if I scream about how it's those damn yadity meows, it's a bad way of expressing myself politically. And those things are both damaging to society. But those aren't the only kind of things that damage society. Let's say I express myself by acting, and I'm standing on a corner where a bunch of people are waiting, and I'm forcing them to watch a really terrible improv comedy act. I'm doing a lot of harm to them, and that's just, we need to raise awareness about those kind of harms too. So today's kind of harm I'm talking about is risk of fundamental ontological damage from listening to bad music. If you listen to too much bad music, it gives you soul cancer. And there is a serious threat that is largely avoided awareness raising campaigns thus far. We're in an era of raising awareness. It's really important that you be aware of that which is risky, dangerous, a threat, problematic, that which you need to blame for everything, okay? So, who is this scoundrel who's gotten away with it for years, assaulting all of our ears with his horrible claptrap? Why, his name rhymes with play of Matthews. It's Dave Matthews. The band that bears its own name, the Dave Matthews Band. Now, for people with any sort of for people who don't like to shit in the holy water in the church of art, Dave Matthews Band is appalling and a necessary problem. In other words, you got a problem you have to deal with. You can't just ignore it because it's too big of a problem. Thousands and thousands of people, possibly every day, are newly introduced to the Dave Matthews Band. And is there a powerful enough voice out there saying, watch out? Is there signage that says, watch out, around this corner is something that is, it's like a succubus. There's nothing attractive about it at all, nothing sexy about it at all, but somehow it fools some people into having sexual intercourse with it, and then they might be ruined for the rest of their life. Because if they think that Dave Matthews Band is good and start getting into it, try to get into it and go like, I don't know why this is good, but I'm trying my hardest, you never know what can happen. They may lose years of their life. Like that Dawes right there. For years, he secretly battled a prog rock addiction. Admitting that unnecessary musicianship is a problem is the first step to good art instincts as far as the consumer goes, and also as far as the creator goes. Now, the problem comes in when you have somebody who's, it would almost seem willfully chosen to make sure none of his songs are good at all, right? And that all of its instrumentation is especially offensively bland, and that all of the people in the audience are going like this with their glass of Chardonnay, right? And he's done a great job of that. But we shouldn't reward that with praise, buying tickets, listening to. It should earn its due consequence, which is everyone should go, boo, boo, stop playing the guitar. if you like the Dave Matthews Band, you're part of one of America's biggest problems. Okay? If you're one of those people who travel around the country following the Dave Matthews Band, let me tell you, there's going to come a day where you're going to have to stand up in front of your wife or your husband and explain to them why it is that your child likes the Dave Matthews Band. Yes, darling.
I knew someone who liked the Dave Matthews Band who never changed. Whose favorite sweatshirt was from 1998. It had pills all over it.
It had what all over it?
Pills, like the little pillies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like.
I hope it was made in an unnecessarily complicated way, and so that it had no intuitive appeal at all.
Yeah, he was that kind of dude.
So, the Dave Matthews School of Making. Let's say you need a hammer. First, you get a bunch of toothpicks, grind them into wood dust, then compress that wood dust at high temperatures into particle board, and make a handle that way. Then, for the heavy part on top that you hit with things, you take iron ore, you smelt it down, and then you make the head out of iron. Then you break it into pieces and you glue it back together again. There. Now I'm done making a perfect hammer. Keeping in mind that always remember the most natural hammer shape of the head, you have to deviate from that at all times. So twist it so it doesn't work quite as well. Okay? Same with the handle. If it fits naturally in the hand, that's too intuitive. So twist it so it pokes you in certain places and rubs wrong and it's uncomfortable. That's how you know you put a lot of work into it, because it's, after all, it's so different from other hammers. Peter Gabriel in Genesis, I think, look, I'm not wanting to talk about conspiracies and stuff like that, but there is definitely a cabal of Prague. And these enemies of mankind are sitting around and they're discussing how they can poison the artistic instincts of everybody that hears them. And on the board of this are people from Rush and people from the Dave Matthews Band. Definitely Peter Gabriel's on this board. Amazingly, Phil Collins applied and got rejected.
So
there's also, by the way, a representative from the music video industry on this board, and that person is the one who's responsible for putting 4 minutes of bullshit before the song starts in every music video.
Yeah, yo, they're known for that.
Dave Matthews Band does that?
They have 4
oh Jesus
intros.
See, I wasn't even talking about the Dave Matthews Band in their videos. I was saying, along with the bad idea people who are on the Dave Matthews Band board of cabal of evil, is whoever it is who thinks it's a good idea to put 4 minutes of bullshit before your song starts. You make it so I can't put it on my playlist, retard.
Oh, I hate that.
You know?
I hate that. I was talking in concert.
Phil Collins is dope. Has anybody ever heard that sentence before, written that sentence before, seen that sentence before,
I've never heard that
or
before.
considered that sentence
Not
before,
dope.
could even possibly ever in any alternate universe be true? Phil Collins may be a lot of things. One thing Phil Collins definitely is not is dope.
Definitely not.
John Denver's more dope than Phil Collins. And John Denver's not that dope. Fomel the Great says he's dope. Phil Collins is dope, huh? Okay, so we're not including whether anything he makes is good, right? That's not a factor we're considering. Because if we're not considering that at all, then I'm sure he's dope. But if it matters at all whether what he makes is any good, then he's a piece of trash. Let's see. Other bands to shit on. Well, you said he is a dope. Well, that's a separate matter. That's a separate matter. For example, I'll tell you who's dope. What's his name? That guy who was a coach or coaching thing on The Voice, Maroon 5 guy, Adam Levine. That guy's a dope, but he has a couple of good songs.
He does.
You know, he's not completely worthless as an artist. Whereas Dave Matthews is not just worthless as an artist, he's a cancer upon all art forms. He is the example to hold up and say, this is what not to do. Yes?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cough before.
That's okay. You can cough whenever you want.
Now, I know as a fact that Adam Sandler considers Dave Matthews to be one of his good friends.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying Dave Matthews is a bad friend. If Adam Sandler became friends with Dave Matthews with having no link at all to the music. So in other words,
how can you not?
Okay, well, what I'm assuming, here's what I'm guessing, Rachel, is that Dave Matthews is smart. You know, he's hiding his big secret from his friend. And Adam Sandler has never heard his music, doesn't know it exists. If Adam Sandler heard it, he'd be like, dude, get away from me. I didn't know you were like that. For fuck's sake, that's not okay. Not that Adam Sandler is some sort of particular genius himself. But the point is, even anybody with any art thinks at all, when they heard that music, they would say, Dave, we need to talk. You're not just not doing well, you're doing harm.
I want to GoFundMe to have Adam Sandler prank call me.
I want to GoFundMe to raise a bunch of money, enough money to pay Dave Matthews to sit and listen to me shit on him for half an hour.
How about
face to face?
How about have him listen to his own stuff for like, have one of those double-sided mirrors and have him in a room just by himself, no one else, listening to his own stuff for like 4 hours.
Dave Matthews?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he eats it up.
Oh my God, that's so I don't even know.
He doesn't understand that
he
doesn't understand that just because he likes the smell of his own farts doesn't mean that they smell good. That's how anti-polar the guy is, right? He thinks, well, I like the smell of them. Everyone else wants to. You, Russia, so cringe pilled. You unred pilled fuck. Prove me wrong. Someone's mad. Is it you? I think it's you. I saw Henry Rollins in a speaking engagement at my university. I didn't see him play music. Yes, Rachel also hates Dave Matthews Band. I think it's fair to say. No. That Rachel expresses that she has had her own Dave Matthews phase.
I did. I fully admit I went through a phase in college when I was really deep diving looking for music, and someone recommended Dave Matthews, and I tried it out.
Well, that's the thing about it. It's inoffensive enough at first glance, perhaps. Oh, good. The Fight Monkeys are back. Well, I mean, I think what happens if children are exposed to the Dave Matthews Band too young, they have a musical equivalent to attachment disorder. They no longer trust the world because they took a chance. They put on some music. They thought they might enjoy it, and what they heard was the Dave Matthews Band. It may ruin their ability to have meaningful relationship with music for the rest of their lives.
Wow, it really might.
Henry Rollins speaking started a mosh pit? No. I wasn't impressed with his speech, really, to be honest. I didn't think he said anything. He just sort of tried to vibe with us about being mad about Mia or whatever, or how, it's time to change the way we look at things, but he never really said anything. It was kind of like that that fake TED talk by that comedy guy who pretends like he's all out of breath when he gets there to start the TED talk, and he just says some banal shit. And have you ever heard of it? He's a famous guy, but sort of internet famous. Yes, leaf trimmer. That's where the funny is. Okay. I'm not actually serious. Okay. Just to be clear, everybody, I don't actually think that listening to the Dave Matthews Band traumatizes children. All right. Just to be, in case there's anybody who's not picking up on the joke here, I don't actually think that. Okay. But I did get a comment on a video I made a while back titled "Why Dave Matthews is the worst band, the world's worst band, or something." And there was a fellow believer, so to speak, a believer in the Dave Matthews Band awfulness. He watched a Rollins spoken word tour a decade or so ago. He threatened to have me booted because I laughed at an inappropriate moment in his show.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he's an NFP. Probably ENFP, That's why ENFPs want to be passionate. They don't want pushback. They definitely don't want pushback. They want to preach to only choirs. And they want to, and they're quick to pull the trigger as well to make sure their choir stays pure. They're almost the worst instances of ideological testers. Because they can tell, they know that I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. Nope. Nope. But you said that. But you but you just said that's it, you're gone. That's the ENFP. They definitely don't want to hear your TI, right? No matter what, they don't want to hear your TI.
Right? Wasn't that? It's so true.
And they can smell it too, even if you're just laughing. They can smell your TI. I smell an ENTP or a TI user, No, well, now this is all party loyalists talking and stroking each other. Don't you come around here and make us think. What an asswipe. Rollins on to pay to see his show. When you talk about FI tool function, Dave Lowry, I think might be an ENFP as well. He wrote this this thing about how wrong it is to rip songs from CDs back in the day when we ripped songs from CDs and stuff. And probably Michelle Shocked is an NFP. You know, she has made it impossible for anybody to get her music on the internet except through buying her $250 CDs.
Yep.
Which are, you know, hey, don't worry, they're vintage collectibles. It's a fucking CD. That's his fault. That's not YouTube's fault. That's my fault. When you do too many videos in a day, it doesn't send out notifications.
I didn't even realize you did that many.
Yeah, well, I had my dentist office one.
Oh, right.
I had my finishing my thoughts. I didn't finish my earlier argument with leaf trimmer one.
The ESTP.
I had the ESTP one. I had live stream, so you know. But yeah, I did the work I wanted to get done. I went to the dentist as well, so I had to get that done. We got lunch.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm back to normal as I know myself to be, which is it's about thank you, Matthew. And we all need to do that. Not just with our kids, with our friends, with our families. Everyone needs to have a Dave Matthews Band preparedness plan. What are you going to do if a family member, whether from a school friend or a street dealer or something like that, decides to experiment with Dave Matthews?
Yeah.
Because if we don't stop the cycle now.
With me. That's what happened with me. I was in a phase. I was looking for music. Someone suggested Dave Matthews to me. I was like, okay, so now I know what the song Gray Street is.
Because let me paint a nightmare scenario for everybody. We've got Dave Matthews. He's a terrible thing, but he's just a band, right? He's one band. Now imagine 10,000 kids across the country, influenced heavily by Dave Matthews, starting bands. 10,000 of them becoming successful enough to be known. Imagine 10,000 bands whose foundational aesthetics are based on the Dave Matthews Band. It could be the end of civilization. Before we know it, all basketball games will be broadcast by Bill Walton. All songs will be by Dave Matthews. All variety, goodness, and truth and justice will leave the world. We'll lose colors. Everything will turn black and white. Then it'll all just turn kind of iffy, pixelated grayscale. And then we'll all be waiting in the dentist's office forever, listening to the Dave Matthews Band and watching Bill Walton commentate a basketball game that's a blowout between two schools you don't care about. And the pictures flicking in and out. So all you can do is hear Bill Walton talking about Bill Walton while the Dave Matthews Band is playing. That's the future. That's a dark dystopian future I can extrapolate from our current lack of resources, attention, and awareness, especially. Because awareness is huge. Being aware is the number one thing that we need to do. Some people want to raise money. Some people want to raise sheep. Some people want to raise crops. Me, I'm smart. I know what matters. I want to raise awareness. Well, Karma's Pimp, now that's a perfectly reasonable approach, okay? Sure. What's the natural response? You come home, your child's listening, catch your child listening to the Dave Matthews Band. The natural approach is immediately, I'm disowning this child, I'm kicking them out on the streets, right? That's the natural, immediate response of any red-blooded American parent or anywhere in the world, any human of decency. But what I'm going to suggest is instead of damning these people, let's try to save them. Let's try to prevent more of them by raising awareness. Dave Matthews is fucking terrible, and nobody should ever listen to him. That's what I'm thinking about is the slogan for the billboard for the public service announcement. What do you guys think? Dave Matthews is fucking terrible. See, you probably can't use the F word on a billboard. Dave Matthews is terrible. If you like him, you're wrong. How about that? Is that too long for a catchphrase? That's too long for a catchphrase. How about like Dave Matthews, hate the world. Hate Dave Matthews, love the world. It'd be like one of those no God, no peace things.
I like that.
Look, we need to have a Kickstarter campaign to fund a research project on Dave Matthews Band. Obviously, the scientists are going to be doing the research on the Dave Matthews Band and their music. They're going to have to listen to it only certain frequency bands at a time, or else they'll be subjected. It's, you can't ask anybody to do that job any more than you can ask anybody to have the job of getting first-degree burns all over themselves all day. That's not a job; it's torture. But with enough ear protection, I'm confident that a set of scientists with enough isolation from the original tracks and stuff could do some analysis to discover what it is about Dave Matthews Band, specifically in the frequency range, possibly on the song construction, makes them so cause a strong, violent physical illness in people of good taste. Eat, pray, love, hate Dave Matthews. Right. Thank you, Karma's Pimp.
Well, that's great saying.
It is such a great saying.
Mm-hmm.
Eat, pray, love, hate Dave Matthews. Today I choose to hate Dave Matthews. Well, if you haven't seen my video called Why Dave Matthews is the World's Worst Band, I subjected myself. What was that? 45 seconds, maybe, Rachel? A minute, even?
Mm-hmm.
A good minute, maybe, even.
I think so.
Of a Dave Matthews Band live show.
Oh, I subjected myself to it too. That was.
Well, Rachel and I had to do it together because it's one of those experiences that when you get on the other side of it, you need to know the person who's beside you has been there with you, has known that horror,
For real.
They say war is hell. War is a piece of cherry cream pie compared to a Dave Matthews Band concert. I'd rather die from poison gas in 1,000 wars in a row than listen to one Dave Matthews Band concert. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally.
The Dave Matthews Band is literally worse than setting off 5 hydrogen bombs in my mouth. Literally. Yeah, the music is creative. Exactly. Dave Matthews is creative. That's the saying right there. That's the tagline for our public awareness campaign. Because Dave Matthews is creative, in scare quotes.
Creative is good.
See this shaking fist? Who am I shaking it at?
Dave Matthews?
Mm-hmm. If you're Dave, I want you to check your last name. If it's Matthews, I'm shaking this fist at you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's good for someone to take a stand.
I know. It feels good to finally be the one who gets to blame. Because unlike all these other people, I'm blaming the right person. Dave Matthews. Why do we have this COVID problem? Dave Matthews. Why do we have identity politics? Dave Matthews. Why do we have a culture war? Dave Matthews. Why are children tearing out their ears at an unprecedented rate? Dave Matthews. It's often said that the most outspoken Dave Matthews fans are closeted fans. The haters are closeted fans. Oh, you mean you think I'm secretly Dave Matthews? I'm secretly homo Dave Matthews? but I'm being really anti Dave Matthews because I'm secretly a Dave Matthews fan. I've got some good news. On like ontological matters, liking Dave Matthews is a choice. Okay.
And you get to choose your choice.
Yeah, we don't get to judge people for who they are, but we do get to judge them for their actions and words. And choosing Dave Matthews is a poor choice.
Indeed.
Worthy of not one, but two finger wags. You have a friend whose name is Dave Miller. Are you sure it's not Matthews? Because that's the same first letter. Double check, Winston's mom. You're Dave Miller. He could be an alias. It could be an alias for Dave Matthews. It's exactly the sort of creative alias Dave Matthews would come up with. Eric used to be friends with Dave back in high school until Dave took his girl. Wouldn't that be funny if it turned out to be that? It's like, right? Like Rachel comes home one evening after I've gone to bed. Okay, guys, I found something out about Dave Matthews. It turns out he stole Eric's first girlfriend. They're enemies from way back in high school. It has nothing to do with his music. I caught him listening to it the other day in the bathroom. He was going like this. A glass of Chardonnay.
Oh my god. I'm not sure what I would do in that situation.
Rip time? Good idea.
Yeah. Whose idea that was that?
That's an idea by Death Non-Existent Channel.
Thank you, Death Non-Existent Channel. We forget sometimes.
We do. We have a problem with forgetting to smoke weed. If we forget much longer, we might, not even have to go to the weed store until tomorrow.
Wow.
But it's not a terrible thing, right? But at the same time, we run a substantial risk of not being high enough. That's how he fucks. That's how who fucks.
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews.
This is such an engaging.
Matthew Alistair, no. It's you know what? You thought you made it up? I just did a quick fact check. It's 100% true. Not only is Adam Sandler friends with Dave Matthews, but he's also friends. Dave Matthews is also friends with C.S. Joseph. What happened was this. Dave Matthews said, hey, you know what? I've already mastered great music. I want to master all the other ways of paying attention. And that's how he got into C.S. Joseph, who helped him to ego hack all the people in his band so to make it even better. Looks like you've got an FI dom on your hands, huh? We should invest in conversion therapy for DM fans. It's not it. Look, you may not be able to pray the gay away, but you can pray the Dave away. Yes, because God also doesn't want you to listen to bad music. Actually, Winston's mom, that's me you're describing. Right. Yeah, I heard about that. Originally Dave Matthews was an ENFP, but then C.S. Joseph helped him become an INTJ. Because it turns out that Dave Matthews was just stuck in his shadow. Unfortunately, it didn't help him make any better music.
Oh my god, you know what I'm gonna have a dream tonight of you doing a toast at my brother's wedding and talking about Steve Matthews Band during the toast.
Yeah, totally. I'd like to, because I guess Rachel's brother is a big Dave Matthews Band fan.
Yeah, he goes every year to see him.
And what does he say about him when he comes back?
That he's
like, what are the positive things? What are the positive things he says about Dave Matthews?
He's never seen such talented musicians. That's the most.
If Dave Matthews plays at my wedding, I'm getting divorced. That's a good joke, Matthew. I like that one. It's almost as good as my book festival joke, which I shared earlier today and won't share again. But yeah, it's your marriage is doomed if Dave Matthews shows up and offers to play a song at your reception. Say no. He'll go up there. What are you doing, Dave Matthews? Nothing. Oh, right. You are doing nothing. Musically, you're doing nothing. You're just meow, meow, meowing. It's like you can describe every Dave Matthews song. You go, that song that goes meow, 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 meow. And I'm going to go name like 12 Dave Matthews Band songs in a row. Close. It is a Dave Matthews Band song, but it's not any of those. Well, they all sound exactly the same-ish, kind of mush, like nothing. They sound like nothing, right? Those songs sound like nothing. I don't know what to even. Who can sing a Dave Matthews melody to me? Anybody? One of these days, either Dave Matthews or Bill Walton is going to have to listen to one of my videos about them. And that will be a happy day for me. Dave Matthews and Bill Walton, in my opinion, are the same type. They're both ESTJs. And they're both ESTJs who are doing something that is not acceptable for ESTJs to do. That's making art or doing commentary. ESTJs have no business doing either of those two things. And he does seem to be strongly opposed to melody and principle, is a good way to put it, Legends Fall, which is like saying, yeah, I love making art. I just hate it when it's good. You know? Joe Graves, that's actually not by Dave Matthews. That's the Eagles. But try again. You don't sing DMB songs. You feel them, whatever that means. Yeah. Anyway, I don't really have a lot to talk about right now. I just wanted to shit on Dave Matthews some.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I want Dave Matthews to know how shitty he is. I can't believe he doesn't know how shitty he is. It's like nobody's telling him how shitty he is. What do all the types have no business doing? I mean, INFJs have no business being the foreman on a construction site. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I already had the disappointment. Didn't you see the video, Winston's mom? You lulled it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see. That's not the question you asked. Yes, Winston's mom. I have a new appointment. See?
There's proof. 9 o'clock.
Yeah. It turns out, it was actually rather interesting at the dentist's office. It turns out, first of all, that they were never going to do anything this time anyway. That they have to wait for this to heal more. So that's why I have another appointment in 6 weeks. They were just checking to see how it was. Who called you a courageous INFP? Them fighting words. I talked to an INFP today. That was interesting.
Yeah.
You should react to him covering all along the watchtower. It's the most flashy, drawn-out thing I've ever seen. I know. What's up with those pictures in the dentist office, right? Like, what inspired them to purchase those two of all? You're gonna purchase like random waiting room art. Like, who did they send out to pick the two paintings of random waiting room art? The rest of the pictures in there are all dentist related pictures, like people smiling with advertising this dental service or that dental service. You know, those are the only two that are just like hotel art. But it's like, obviously this is a TE person running this thing. It's like that is so instrumental and backslot FE. Don't forget to, on the checklist, those rectangle things that go on the wall that people look at to make them feel comfortable while they're sitting in the chairs. Get a couple of those things. Which ones? It doesn't matter. They're just rectangles that go on the wall to make people feel comfortable sitting in the chairs. Apparently that makes them feel comfortable. So I don't know. You know, there's nobody said, this is my business and I want it to look like I want it to look, because it's obviously like probably FE polar person. But Winston's mom, you could tell those paintings were terrible. You wouldn't have picked those, would you? You're FE polar. You can sing Voodoo Child by Dave Matthews. Okay. It might be his girlfriend's art. That makes sense, Alex. Although I got to tell you, if I was a dentist and Rachel had painted those paintings in the dentist office, I still wouldn't have put them on the wall. Right? I don't think Rachel would have wanted me to. No. So it must be an FI person who's also has their girlfriend make them, because you know, I don't care how badly my girlfriend wanted to. I'd have to break the news to her. I'd have to say, Rachel, sweetie, look, I love the fact that you're creating, and I have to have like that kind of conversation. But there's no way those things would go up on the wall. There's no fucking way.
That'd be so sad.
Rachel, you would never paint one of those pictures and think it should go on the wall.
No, you're right.
In a million years, would you? He's on the edge about something? Who is on the edge? Is it rock legend Sammy Hagar? Crash Into Him is a song I can really relate to, though. I crash into things and people all the time. He gives people like me a voice. It's on the channel. It's called like I Visit the Dentist or something like that. Visiting the dentist office or something. The teeth thing is very genetic. My mom has great teeth. My dad has bad teeth. I got my dad's teeth. But the interesting thing about the dentist office visit was actually I don't know if you recall me talking about the young dentist I had last time. She looked like she was about 20 years old, but I'm assuming she was like 27 or whatever. And how they introduced her to me as like, she's just joined our or whatever. Well, this time I go back there and I'm told you'll be having Dr. Mia. Dr. Mia, who you had last time, is no longer with us. I don't remember their names, obviously, but oh, okay. So I mean, my FE read of the whole situation was pretty clear. The NI about it was pretty clear that she got fired, or it was not that she fucked up. And the dentist who talked to me had a very different attitude about the whole thing than she did too, which is her thing was very catastrophizing. Like, so I've been coming to terms with the possibility that I might have to get all my teeth pulled out or whatever. This dentist was like a sane human being dealing with another human being going, okay, well, you do have issues here, but you probably got a couple of years before they become significant enough. Maybe this one we're going to have to deal with sooner. So, looks like it depends on your time frame. I had a real conversation with a person about a procedure I'm trying to decide about getting, rather than last time this lady's telling me I need to get all my teeth pulled out. And I'm saying, look, I don't talk to me about anything except this thing I'm here for. This is causing me discomfort. I'm not happy. Deal with this. I don't want to hear about your bullshit about other things that aren't like, if it doesn't make the car drive funny, don't fix it. I had to do that with her, I don't think she was sketchy. I think she was brand new and not slow to pick up the paradigm they wanted, I don't think she was sketchy. I think she was just, because remember, the dentist office fired her. So it's like dentist office can be sketchy, but dentists can just be bad at a good dentist office potentially. A good dentist office won't have a sketchy dentist. She was just brand new and obviously made a couple of mistakes of some sort, probably in customer relations, because she wanted to sort of hustle and bustle like a doctor a lot. And they fired her. But no, I totally agree with you, Matthew. Believe me, I am on your page 100% that my mouth health affects my whole body. And also, I'm under the clear awareness that it cost $6,000 to get these 8 teeth pulled out, and it's going to cost another almost $4,000 to get the partial denture that's going to go here. The alternative thing I was talking about with the dentist was, okay, well, let's see how much it's going to be. The thing was I had to reset my frame because I'd come out of that last dentist meeting being told a very catastrophized version of things, which I rejected immediately, but had processed since, right? And so then I went in there with that frame of reference, but the doctor sort of said, whoa, hold on a second. Let me get more x-rays, a lot more x-rays. So they did a lot more x-rays. And then he gave me a very, he gave me a multivariable considering set of answers. He answered a lot of questions for me that I had, So it's like, given the fact that at some point I'm going to have to go full dentures probably in my life, before I'm dead, I would like, when I do have those, to get the kind that are, if I'm going to have to get that at all, to either get the kind that are mounted on, what are those things called? It's the alternative to a denture. It's not an insert, but what do they call that?
Partial?
No, the other alternative. The one that you screw into your... No. Implants. So, it's like if I were to get all implants, it would be prohibitively expensive. You're looking at $3,500 a tooth. Because it's $1,500 for the implant and it's $1,500 for the crown and veneer. If you good jokes today, everybody. Good jokes. Oliver Linehand kills it with, if your child likes Dave Matthews, that's forgivable. If they like his band, well, that's another story.
Oh.
This one's for Oliver Lyman, by the way. Oliver, get ready for the head change, okay? You'll make sure you're sitting down, I said. I don't know what Rachel's doing right now. She's on her phone.
Oh yeah, I was putting up posts on Instagram about typology with the music.
Oh right, yeah. Rachel's putting Instagram posts like the quintessential ESFP song or stuff like that, you know. And it's also when she's talking to me about that, it inspires me then to put up the poll. Like I put up the 2 polls today. One earlier that said, let me look at them to make sure I get it right. What I said. So the most recent one is, what's the most ESTP song? And there's 36 votes so far. Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z is winning 50%. Second place, I Want to Be Sedated by the Ramones.
I did 5. I voted 5 Finger
Death Punch?
Yeah.
I put that one in there because I wanted to include an example of the kind of music that Taylor listens to. So I Googled best hard rock songs 2010s. And I found a list on this website called, I think, Loudwire, which is contemporary heavy metal, I guess. Okay, well, Freddie Forgiato asks the question, is it okay to like Dave Matthews as long as you know they're bad?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Not asking for me, I'm a rap guy. Well, I'm going to refer you, first of all, a first response to that, to Oliver Linehand's wise notation above. First of all, let's make this distinction, because if your child likes Dave Matthews, that's forgivable. But if they like his band, well, that's another story. So right here, I do want to stress that it is okay to like Dave Matthews himself. You just can't like his music.
Thank you.
Like, I don't know anything about Dave Matthews as a person. He may be a perfectly nice guy. I don't know. I have no idea, right? So maybe you just go ahead.
Oh my God.
Fuck space objects so much. I hate them.
So do I.
Yes, see, that's a nice thing about humorous and fun topics like this, Leaf Trimmer. They aren't serious advocacies, so I don't have to be consistent. I don't have to be consistent. You can't make me. You can't make me. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. I was changing gears. Yes, I'm changing gears now. My bad.
Now I'm gonna do another post using my tarot cards. What cards should I use?
I mean, I think you should look through I'd have to look at it. I don't know. I have to see the one that reaches out to me, you know?
Okay, then you pick. Yeah.
No, I just backtracked. Maybe your question can be attributed to lag. Okay. I'm gonna attribute your question to lag, but I just backtracked on that. Okay. My bad. I backtracked when I reread what you said.
Are we out of coffee?
Yes, but there's another thing in the garage. Hey, Trimmer, you are in the middle of so much shit all the time. So, but one thing I want to actually talk about is one possible critique, of me from an NI perspective is that, and I've been critiqued of this before, that I'm gullible in some sense. Like that, leaf trimmer. Oh yeah, I know, my bad. We're you know what? We're playing a little. That's the only kind we have. Oh no, never mind. That's not that kind I don't like. No, that's fine. I thought for a second it was the kind with chicory.
Oh, chicory? No.
That's not the chicory kind.
Yeah.
Listen, Lee Charmer, we're playing lag tag. I'm reacting to shit that's your shit that you're reacting to in real time is delayed for me, so it causes me to get confused occasionally. Let's just drop it, okay? I don't want to argue with you, and I acknowledge that you didn't do anything, okay?
Wow. Lessons are being learned.
All right, so although, of course, the thing is, even though you didn't do anything, it nevertheless remains the fact that due to my own doings, a leaf trimmer centered matter has caused a collapse into discussing leaf trimmer.
That dirty rascal.
So, anyway, this is a funny place, isn't it? So talking to the famous people, you guys are great. I really enjoy just the circus insanity around here. Oh, it's funny. I mean, I wonder that's the nice thing about being FI polar, because I bet there are not a lot of other YouTubers who have a community like this where it's so much more like family, in the sense that you guys like yell at each other a lot, I mean, that's not like my family, but it feels more like we're as we're at a big extended family dinner where people get in arguments and stuff, That's why I said the other day about the video I Miss Spacey, that it was like TWFP's worst Thanksgiving dinner ever or whatever.
That's a great. Yes.
But I love horrible Thanksgiving dinners. That's the kind of drama that's actually worth being entertained by.
Especially if you're not the one who's like really in it. Like, although you were.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I like being involved in some way. I don't like being involved if I actually did something wrong, because then all of a sudden I got to be held accountable. Blah, blah, blah. So I try not to actually do anything wrong. So and get on top of. Yeah, pleasant Thanksgivings are the worst. Why do we have to drive all the way over there to watch football? Right? It's like that's a stand-up comedian style joke right there that I just made.
Thank you.
It's a one-liner. It's got a punchline. You could see somebody building a kind of classic style stand-up routine out of that. Mm-hmm. I love Thanksgiving. I mean, the crazy ones. Pleasant Thanksgiving dinners are the worst. Why do I have to drive all the way over there just to watch football? Something like that.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedians spend a lot of time polishing their delivery, And joke delivery is like music. it is a lot easier for me to catch lightning in a bottle live than it is tracking. So it's like, usually when I perform live in an actual venue where people are looking at me, I mean, I'm pretty good at reading a crowd, and I would describe the reaction I get as confused to surprised to delighted to impressed. So that's pretty good. That's my response I get when I play in an actual venue where people are there. But it doesn't come across very well live streaming. Part of the reason is because I live stream like this. If I were to live stream with the software, the audio would be better. And I really should do that if I'm planning on playing songs or whatever. Would you do active crowd work if your set was bombing? I mean, I can't imagine letting my set bomb. Like, in other words, the answer to that question is, why wasn't I active before it started bombing? You know? I mean, I definitely want to. It made me lose. No, we're not talking about Dave anymore, Joe Graves. Sorry. If you were here just for the Dave Matthews meeting, for the meeting of Dave Matthews Anonymous, how can we stop Dave Matthews from polluting the airwaves with his garbage? Then that meeting is now over. You can go back to your Volvos, go back home, and I'm going to make room here for Rachel, who's going to do some card stuff.
Oh.
I'm going to go outside and think specifically about that thing you were just saying. So in other words, if I were to be bombing, I'd be bombing and being active the whole time while bombing. I would probably start with a prepared thing, but I'd be looking for good opportunities to deviate from that because I feel most comfortable on the fly. I mean, it's what I do around here all the time, right? If I'm in a funny mood, which means I don't mean like if I'm finding things funny in general about the world, then I'll make a lot of jokes and stuff. And sometimes I'm more or less funny. But the other thing is, one nice thing about training in this medium is I don't have any live real-time feedback from you guys. So I don't have any laughter I can hear. I don't know if I'm bombing or not. So maybe that's why I can't imagine myself bombing.
Well, so like I'm watching that show, Marvelous Miss Maisel, and it's about a female comic, and it seems like that it doesn't matter how if you're truly a funny comedian, it doesn't matter how funny your set may be. There are some times where the crowd just sucks, and it's gonna feel like bombing. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes, like people are, in a rotten mood, and they'll try to I think you'll be fine though. You're so naturally.
I mean, I think I just checked into live stream mode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I do too.
I just start like. Anyway, I wanted you to do card things for a little bit. And I wanted to imagine. I need you to do a little imagineering, as they say in Disney.
Ooh, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna use those small cards then for that. I was gonna.
Because a couple people were asking for a card pull.
Oh yeah.
I thought that's why you brought them out.
Oh no, I didn't know. Which decks should I use?
Whatever you want, baby.
I've been using the small ones.
I like the small ones. I think they are the coolest pictures.
Okay. What's up, everyone?
I wish I had bought that deck for myself when I bought the deck. I like that deck better than mine.
Well, why don't?
No, I don't want you to give it to me. I want to take you to that store.
Cool.
Yeah,
we should go.
That'd be fun.
Winston's mom says, Rachel, I had the most vivid dream earlier. My dream involves someone who appears here regularly,
but not lately, and my dream was rather intimate. I like those kind of vivid dreams. Blushing now.
I did talk to Spacey's girlfriend today. I talked to Spacey's girlfriend on the phone. Does that count as a dream?
Yeah,
whatever?
Winston's mom. Does this like count as like part of the like foretelling in the dream?
Spacey's girlfriend texted me after that Spacey one. See, I don't really remember that Spacey one as being about Spacey, right? I remember it as being about Fomalhaut, basically. That Spacey live stream. The live stream titled I Miss
Yes,
Spacey
it's mostly Fomalhaut.
was mostly not about Spacey.
Yeah.
But some of it was. It was like 4 or 5 hours long. So some of it was, and she watched that part and she texted me. And all I got was a text that said, is this Eric from Talking to Fan People? And I said, yeah. And she said, this is Steven's girlfriend. And I said, who's Steven? And she said, I'm talking about Spacey. And then because I don't like texting, I guess I just called her. And so then I talked to her on the phone while I was pooping.
Okay, the first card is just like stay that like it was like focused. I don't understand why it changed. Ugh. Frustrating. Okay, so it's number 12, and it's basically looking like Snow White and some of the dwarves being like, oh no, she just ate the apple. It's death time, baby. Time for things to end and other things to begin. There we go. That's the first card. I don't know. That's cool. That you like told yourself to dream, and it actually happened. Winston's mom. I try to get myself to dream about things. It's only worked like a handful of time for me though, unfortunately. 7 of Christina Ricci. This one. The next card. Ace of Cups. We've been seeing this. You love your dolls. And you love your dolls so much that they look like you. Maybe love comes from within. That's what that card's trying to say. Last one.
That's the sound effect that goes with it. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Go ahead.
Oh.
Sorry to interrupt with my flatulence.
Not at all. This one.
That's the one.
Ooh. 2 came out with it.
Okay. This card, which is number 18, has a very clear message.
Ooh, that's the moon.
And its message can be summed up in song form.
That's a pretty card.
Cold water, it's a watery grave. It's a warning. Don't irresponsibly boat in cold water. And then this one is if you successfully avoid irresponsibly boating in cold water, you'll become a butterfly. Uh-oh. No, actually, this is the 3 of Swords. It's kind of a bad card in tarot. Right?
It's a sad butterfly. She's pinned to the wall.
Yeah, that's a bad card to get. Sorry you had to
But
get
this
that
is
one,
the-
whoever it was.
But this is at the bottom of the deck, so that'll count.
This
So
counts too.
what is that?
Number 9.
Number 9. I think that's the Hermit.
It's known as the Beatles card.
Number 9.
Yeah, they numbered it after the Beatles song.
Yeah, Hermit.
Hermetio. The Hermit lives in the Hermitage, which is in St. Petersburg. So what this card is saying is, as long as you stay away from St. Petersburg, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy unless you live in St. Petersburg, in which case, ooh. You got trouble on the horizon. Who was that for?
That was for the general crowd.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hope none of you live in St. Petersburg. I've been to St. Petersburg. I have to poop right now, though.
Oh.
I'm going to go inside and poop. So could you still sit there for a little while longer? Or do you want to not sit there? I can put. I can do intermission. I'm sorry. Let me just do intermission. I'm interrupting your Instagramming.
Thank you.
And I was being inconsiderate and not thinking about that.
I was just gonna shuffle on camera.
I got confused because I forgot the Instagram thing, and you brought up the cards. I thought they were responsive to. I thought they were responsive to somebody here asking for cards.
Oh.
And I think it was Matthew asked for a card. Matthew Oscar.
Oh. We could do another one.
It's intermission. Welcome to intermission. During intermission, you will experience the following intermission activity. Shuffle.
This is fun. I like this.
Case objects.
One morning I woke up early, I said let's monger some pearls. So we mongered down at the marketplace. The pearl market and marketplace. We're mongering pearls, pearl mongering, monger with me. We monger with Steve. We monger and leave. You can't do that, you can't just monger and leave. It's rude, you know that. Monger and leave, monger and leave. Monger me this and monger me that. Monger me fish and monger me hats. Monger me asses, monger me beef. I don't monger away my shins from my knees. Mongerin', come on and monger with. Come on and monger with me and then monger with Steve. 'Cause we've been mongering. You can't be stronger than me because I have been mongering. I've been mongering with Steve. And we've been mongering. Monger me this, monger me that, monger me fish and monger me hats, monger me lots of goodwill. Mongering up on the hill.
That's pretty good.
That was.
She's a dreamer. She's a schemer. I know that I wanna be a man anyway. You found a stone. Stick around, baby. I can't stand to be alone. Haka, ka-chika, ka-cha-cha-cha. Like Morrissey said, I'm human, need to be loved. That's why I got these pair of gloves. I'm gonna put them on top of my hands, and then that way they won't be cold when it's grand piano time. grand piano time. Haka, ka-chika, ka-cha-cha-cha. Well, you're too damn funky for me, Eric Strauss. You got a funky nose and a funky mouth. You even live in a funky house, and I won't have any of that, Strauss. So trust me, you better believe that I'm gonna stand up now and leave. If you want to sit here, that's fine, but don't expect anybody. Don't expect anybody. Don't think no one ever gonna take you home to mama. Mama got rules for a family affair. Don't think nobody take you back to Papa. Papa's always looking to show that he cares. Don't think no one ever gonna take you home to mama. Way too funky for a family affair. Ain't nobody gonna bring you home to Papa. Ain't a man who likes to share. Caterpillar time. Caterpillar time. It's caterpillar time. Caterpillar time. It's caterpillar time. It's caterpillar time. Caterpillar time. Caterpillar time. It's caterpillar time. You come outside, your arms are folded. I'm getting scolded for playing again. I want to achieve as much as I can in terms of a man you want me to be. I got to do what I gotta do. I'll include you in everything that I can. 'Cause I'm your man, and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. I want your belief. You want my attention. I've got invention going again. I want to be as much as I can in terms of a man you want me to be. So Kimberly, please don't be mad at me. Though I made this song, 'cause I'm your man, and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. 'Cause I'm your man, and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day.
The sun is up, I'm out of bed, I lay in egg, and then I hear to the cruiser on the street. I press the pedal to the metal, beat don't beat, and here we go. It's time to go, now I need to throw the show. Officer Red. Ride on the scene, it's time check time. I got no mistype, ass in cuffs, it's mine. This is harassment, Officer Red, but you can drop it on the top of my head. You can wheel and complain, how can stammer, you'll attain the same outcome, heading to the slammer. I'm sure you'll like feel just fine. Then put your wrong type up where the sun don't shine. Make room first, so extract your head. Then I'll put you in the car, says Officer Red. Officer Red. Can't be grabbed with that large appliance. You're under arrest and out of compliance. You have to drive the street home instead of the rain straight into the beat. Officer Red. I'm Officer Red. I'll take a peck at a crime.
I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you. And you'll want to know the way to get back out to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today, a week lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the directions I point to still seem a part of me. The departed